Hello and welcome back. Hard to believe we've already made it to part 12. I think at this point we're just under halfway through reviewing every episode. This video makes 43 episodes. We've covered, I think there's 93 or 94 in total. So yeah, still a long way to go. I still want to cover the final movie at some point, though I hear Ritual was horrible. I've never seen it. And in a weird way, I'm kind of looking forward to it. But before we jump in, recently King Newsme covered the episode Television Terror on his channel. I love the way he presents in his videos. And if you haven't already, you should check him out. To me, he genuinely seems like a good dude, and his videos are always entertaining. I'll drop a link for the video in the description below, so you can go and check him out. But with all that out of the way, let's get to it, shall we? Our first story is titled Lower Berth, from Season 2, Episode 13, originally airing on July 3rd, 1990. Our story opens on a dark, bustling carnival. In a dimly lit tent of a traveling sideshow, the audience quickly gathers. Mr. Feely is presenting to the crowd, building hype. He first introduces Fanny, the fat lady, or an average woman from West Virginia. Then the Littles, a family of little people. Finally, he brings out his star attraction, Enoch, a two-faced man. Once revealed, the crowd gasps at the sight of him. He is forced to stay locked in a cage for all to stare and point at. This sideshow is a grim reflection of the era's fascination with human anomalies, and Enoch's life is one of isolation, exploitation, and forced imprisonment. Feely notices that Enoch keeps escaping his cage and chastises his handler, a man named Sickles. Feely warns that if Enoch escapes again, both of them will be forced into retirement. Sickles argues that Enoch is the only thing keeping the freak show from being like all the others. But Feely reveals he knows Sickles has been keeping a secret.
Enoch is special. Enoch is dying. Did you really think you could bribe the company doctor to keep it from me? Well, apparently your freak isn't the only one with two faces, is he?
After their heated argument, Sickles is approached by a shady businessman, Dr. Zachary Kling, who offers a new attraction, a 4,000-year-old Egyptian mummy named Myrna. Kling claims he won the mummy in a poker game and suggests it could be a lucrative addition to the show. Feely, always eager for profit, agrees. Sickles notices the jewels around the mummy's neck. Dr. Kling says the only rule is that the jewels stay in place, due to a possible curse. Myrna is unveiled to the public, and her presence captivates both the audience and the performers. Enoch, in particular, is drawn to her, finding solace in her silent company. Soon after, Sickles discovers that Myrna was not won in a card game at all. She was stolen. Sickles confronts Dr. Kling in a private tent. During their argument, Sickles says he'll take her jewels, and Kling can leave with his stolen mummy. Kling warns him that anyone who tries to remove the jewels from Myrna's neck will be cursed, castrated, or even killed. As Sickles goes to leave, tempted by the priceless jewels, Kling tries to stop him. In the struggle, Sickles accidentally stabs Kling with a pair of garden shears. Kling falls to the ground dead. Thinking fast, Sickles comes up with a devious plan. Sickles then enters the tent where Enoch and Myrna are kept. He unlocks Enoch's cage and leaves the shears by the entrance, intending to frame him for Kling's death. Sickles then takes Myrna's necklace. In a fit of rage, Enoch grabs the shears and attacks, castrating Sickles.
Bloody boy.
Myrna's eyes open, showing she might not be just a mummy after all. Later, Mr. Feely goes to introduce Enoch to a new group of onlookers, only to pull back the curtain and find the cage empty. The crowd murmurs in disappointment. He tries to shift their attention to Myrna, but when he pulls back her curtain, the audience is horrified. Sickles' corpse is revealed, the shears still buried in his torso. A year later, a policeman visits Feely, telling him they have found Enoch and Myrna, and that Feely really needs to come take a look. Together, they enter a damp, dark cave where they discover Enoch dead. his lifeless body wrapped lovingly around Myrna. The two men recoil in disgust at the implications and leave. The camera pans away to slowly reveal a baby crypt keeper. No more than a few months old, he stares into the camera in confusion as the screen fades to black. Lower Berth is directly based on Tales from the Crypt issue 33. In the original comic, Enoch wasn't just a deformed man like in the show. He was actually a two-headed mutant. The carnival owner in the comic was more of a generic cruel showman, but the episode gives us a fully fleshed out sleazeball in the form of Mr. Sickles. The comic played the mummy and Enoch's love story as a quick detail for shock value, while the show slows things down and makes Enoch's story more tragic. The comic ends abruptly with the reveal that their love produced the Crypt Keeper, while the episode delivers a 1-2 punch: the relationship itself and the reveal of the baby keeper. This episode was directed by Kevin Yeager, the creator of both the Crypt Keeper puppet and the Chucky puppet from the Child's Play franchise, which explains why the baby keeper looks a lot like a little Chucky. Overall, I have to say I really enjoyed this episode. It was a nice, simple story of comeuppance with a bit of heart and soul to go along with the horror. Plus, the little baby crypt keeper is just the icing on the cake when it comes to this story. I leave out a lot in these recaps, and this episode is well worth the watch in its entirety. Our second story is titled The Switch, from the second episode of Season 2, originally airing on April 21st, 1990. Our story opens on an elderly man named Carlton Webster. He's wealthy, lonely, and hopelessly in love. He finds himself infatuated with a young woman named Linda. Despite his affluence, Carlton is aware that his advanced age makes him an unlikely suitor in Linda's eyes. Determined to win her affection, he decides to conceal his wealth and propose marriage, hoping that she will love him for who he is rather than his fortune. However, Linda gently rejects his proposal, citing their age difference as a significant barrier. Heartbroken but not deterred, Carlton becomes obsessed with the idea of regaining his youth to make himself more appealing to Linda. He says he'll do anything it takes to make her happy.
I guess I've had this old face a long time. But not going to let that keep us apart.
What do you mean?
I'll do anything it takes to make you happy. Anything.
Seeking a solution, Carlton visits a plastic surgeon, who tells him he could take 5 to 10 years off his face. Carlton says it's not enough. He insists he wants to look even younger. In fact, he wants to look 30 years old again. The doctor relents and gives him a referral to another doctor, who is more capable of giving Carlton the results he's looking for. We cut to a dark manor. Through flashes of lightning, the new doctor is revealed. We're never told his name, only what he can do, but there's a big price: $1 million. Carlton is stunned at the price tag, but the doctor explains that the procedure itself is only $100,000. The other $900,000 is for the face that will be replacing his. A young man named Hans. After a short conversation, Carlton agrees and the procedure begins. When he wakes up and looks in the mirror, Carlton says it isn't what he expected. The doctor assures him that once everything heals, it will look great. Carlton asks about Hans, and the doctor says he's already up and about, but will be kept around in case he's needed again. Puzzled, Carlton asks why he would need him again.
Here is Hans.
Oh, he's around. I'm going to keep him here just in case we need him again.
Why would we need him again?
You never know, do you?
Days later, Carlton shows up at Linda's, sporting his new younger face. Linda's reaction is far less than what Carlton was hoping for. She points out that his body is still old and decrepit. A look of shock creeps across Carlton's new face. But of course, willing to do anything for Linda's love, Carlton returns to the doctor. This time, he requests a new torso to match his face. The doctor reveals he can do it, but this time it will cost $2 million. The sticker shock leaves Carlton upset and in disbelief, but he relents and goes through with a second surgery. He again meets up with Linda. The two go for a romantic walk on the beach. Just as they are about to swim, they go to change clothes. It's revealed that Carlton still has old man legs, which once again puts Linda off.
Let's go. What's wrong?
It's your legs. They're so scrawny and old. Look at the sagging skin and the veins.
Carlton returns to the doctor yet again, who proposes a radical procedure that will make Carlton's transformation complete. The cost is steep, $3 million. Carlton says $3 million is all the money he has left, but reluctantly agrees. The final procedure is a success, and now Carlton is fully transformed into a younger man. He goes to visit Linda, only to find she has moved away. The building manager gives him her new address. Carlton rushes over, knocks on her door, and confident she'll finally say yes, he proposes. But Linda tells him she is already married. Linda reveals what she was truly looking for in a man was wealth and stability. It becomes clear her interest lies more in material gain than in genuine affection. She introduces her new husband, Hans, now living in Carlton's old body. The episode concludes with a poignant reflection on the consequences of vanity and the pursuit of superficial desires. Carlton's quest for youth and love led him to forsake his true self and his fortune, only to find that the woman he longed for could have been his, for the right price all along. But he spent all his money on his transformations. Hans laughs at Carlton as the screen fades to black. While the episode The Switch closely follows the 1954 comic story of the same name, it appeared in the comic Tales from the Crypt, issue number 45, there are some notable differences. The comic presents the story in a darker, more grotesque style, focusing tightly on the body swap twist and the consequences of greed and vanity. The television adaptation, directed by Arnold Schwarzenegger, expands the story by adding more depth to the characters, exploring their motivations, and visually emphasizing the horror and humor through makeup, effects, and cinematography. Essentially, the episode keeps the core premise of Carlton Webster swapping bodies to win the affection of a younger woman, but fleshes it out for a more cinematic, character-driven experience. Arnold himself even appears in the opening of the episode, giving the keeper some lifting tips.
It's disgusting what people will do to stay young.
What's the matter with you? Want to keep that 90-pound corpse for the rest of your death? Keep pumping. I tell the story.
Overall, it's a fun episode, and little me back in the 90s seeing Arnold on Tales from the Crypt had me geeking out a bit. Rick Rossovich, most known for being in Top Gun as Slider and as one of Arnold's victims in the original Terminator, appears as Hans and later Carlton. Arnold asked for him to play the role specifically due to their friendship on the set of the Terminator, and Rick accepted. William Hickey, being a fan of the EC comics growing up, jumped at the chance to film an episode. He was actually double booked filming the Cat from Hell segment on the Tales from the Dark Side movie in late September, then filming The Switch in early October of 1989, with The Switch airing in April of 1990 and Tales from the Dark Side hitting theaters that May. He's near and dear to a lot of horror fans' hearts. He also voiced Dr. Finkelstein in The Nightmare Before Christmas and appeared in an episode of The Outer Limits. He was Uncle Lewis in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and of course he played Andre in The Puppet Master. I have no doubt he was a part of all our childhoods. Our final story is titled The Thing from the Grave, from the 6th episode of Season 2, originally airing on May 8th, 1990. Our story opens on a man frantically driving down a forest road at night. His car comes to a screeching stop when he sees a man in his headlights. We find out the man driving is Devlin Cates, and the man standing in his way is Mitch Bruckner. Devlin asks if she's okay. Bruckner responds by saying yes, but he wishes he could say the same about Devlin before pulling out a gun and firing.
Wish I could say the same for you, big guy. Oh. Tell me something, is that the shoulder she used to cry on? Or was it the other one? Oh.
Devlin runs through the woods to try and escape, but trips at a freshly dug grave. Bruckner picks him up, shoots him several more times, and tosses him into the hole. He then begins shoveling dirt on Devlin. Before we see the conclusion, We flash back to how this all started. We're back in Devlin's studio as Stacy, an aspiring model, is introduced during a photo shoot. Her photographer, Devlin, is immediately taken by her beauty and charm. Despite the professional setting, there's a palpable chemistry between them. As the shoot progresses, Stacy's abusive boyfriend and manager, Bruckner, arrives unannounced. His domineering presence casts a shadow over the session, making both Stacy and Devlin uncomfortable. Bruckner's controlling nature is evident as he belittles Devlin and asserts his authority over Stacy.
Stacy wants to make you really proud of her. Isn't that right? Right. Okay, and we're under just a little bit of a time pressure right here.
Right.
So go out and get yourself a little bit of coffee, okay?
Are you suggesting that I'm making Stacy nervous?
No.
Because I'm not making her nervous, you understand? If anybody's making her nervous, I think it's you. Because you're hitting on her every 2 seconds, you understand what I'm saying? I got an idea. Why don't you take this nice long lens of yours, get it nice and covered with Vaseline, and shove it up your fucking ass! Get some shots to the inside of your asshole, hot shot.
After the shoot, Devlin expresses concern for Stacy's well-being, offering her a place to stay if she ever feels unsafe. Touched by his kindness, Stacy accepts the offer, and they share a tender moment, hinting at a budding romance. Later, Stacy returns to Devlin's apartment, visibly shaken and sporting a bruise. She confides in him about Bruckner's violent tendencies and the abuse she endures. Devlin reassures her, giving her a necklace as a token of his promise to protect her. The necklace, a gift from Devlin's grandmother, is said to possess the power to make any vow spoken while wearing it come true. This supernatural element adds a layer of intrigue to their relationship. Meanwhile, Bruckner becomes aware of Stacy's growing affection for Devlin. Consumed by jealousy and possessiveness, he lures Devlin out days later with a call, claiming Stacy is in trouble at their cabin. This sets the stage for the earlier deadly encounter. In a fit of rage, Bruckner shoots Devlin, buries him alive, and leaves him for dead. He then ties up Stacy, talking to himself as he prepares to exact revenge for her infidelity. But outside, Devlin's body reanimates. He emerges from the makeshift grave where Bruckner buried him. Driven by his vow to protect Stacy, Devlin shuffles toward the cabin. Inside, Mitch hears eerie sounds and steps outside to investigate. Upon seeing Devlin's decaying form, Mitch attempts to shoot him, but the bullets have no effect. In desperation, Bruckner flees into the woods, with Devlin in pursuit. The chase leads them back to the grave, where Bruckner trips and falls in. Devlin, using his undead strength, pulls Mitch deeper into the grave, burying them both and ensuring Stacy's safety. Before Bruckner succumbs, Devlin inscribes, "She's mine," on a nearby rock in Bruckner's blood. He then buries Bruckner alive with himself, making sure Stacy can now live a safe life, free from her tormentor.
No! No! Run! I'm not dead! What are you doing?
This story was adapted from Tales from the Crypt, issue number 22. The comic and the show share the same basic premise, a love triangle gone deadly, with someone returning from the grave, but the details differ. In the comic, the main characters are Bill, who's hopelessly in love with Laura, and Jim, Laura's true love. When Bill murders Jim out of jealousy, Jim, even from the grave, keeps his promise to protect Laura. It's subtle, twisted, and very much in that classic EC comic style. The TV episode changes things quite a bit. We get Mitch, the abusive boyfriend, and Devlin, the rival he murders, but the dynamics are more dramatic and visual. Devlin literally comes back from the grave, making the supernatural element front and center. The TV version also adds more tension and visual horror, which makes sense. It's a show, so they wanted to punch it up for the audience. Even the characters' names and roles changed. Bill and Jim became Mitch and Devlin, giving the story a slightly more modern twist for TV. While the comic leans on dark humor and a twist ending, the episode emphasizes suspense and shock with cinematic flair. Terry Hatcher portrays the supermodel Stacy, This role came 3 years before Hatcher rose to fame as Lois Lane in Lois and Clark. So, at this point, she was still carving out her TV career. The early exposure on Tales from the Crypt was a great stepping stone in her filmography, and cemented her name in the hearts and minds of everybody in the 90s. You might recognize Miguel Ferrer, who is most famous for playing Bob Morton in RoboCop and Dr. Garrett Macy in Crossing Jordan. Miguel was widely regarded as a kind, generous, and genuinely good-hearted person, definitely not the prick he plays in many of his roles. It still held true that, in my opinion, the best bad guys are played by genuinely good people. I want to say a special thank you to the channel members, and in fact, thank all of you for watching, but that's all I have for you in this one. Take care, have a great week, and we'll see you in the next one.